Welcome to Section 4, Social Identity, Group Dynamics, and Dark Manipulation, Part 2. When toxic personalities enter a new group, they don't announce themselves. They observe. They listen for the language the group uses, the specific vocabulary, the shared phrases, the coded words that signal belonging. They pay attention to the symbols that matter, the company founding story, the team's unofficial motto, the shared history. And they identify the core values, what this group holds most sacred, what they would never compromise. And then, with extraordinary precision, they begin to speak the language back. Not to create genuine connection. There is a difference. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine a new colleague. Let's call him Alex. Alex notices that your team regularly uses phrases like, "We're a family here," and "customer first." He also notices that the team has deep reverence for the founder's original vision. So, Alex starts weaving those elements into everything he says. He talks about our family's commitment to the customer. He invokes the founder's name when he pushes his agenda. He frames any competitor, even a colleague, as a threat to everything we stand for. And the team responds because he's speaking their language, because he feels like one of them, because belonging feels confirmed every time he talks. What they don't realize is that Alex is also, quietly, positioning a colleague named Brenda as someone who doesn't quite get the company's values. And by the time people notice what's happening, the damage is already done. That's not fiction. That's a Tuesday in organizations everywhere. However, when someone is healthy, they may use that same language, but it will be to better the environment. For example, we have a family commitment to the customer, and part of the family commitment is that we all work together. That means each of us has a good self-care plan so we can give better customer service. That person is looking out for the team, customers, and company. They do not have a secret agenda. Do you see the difference? When you understand the difference, you can start to see the advanced manipulation toxic personalities do at the group level. Once a toxic personality has established themselves as a trusted in-group voice, they have access to a much more powerful toolkit. They invoke historical grievances, real or exaggerated, to create emotional charge and a sense of shared victimhood. Remember what happened to us before? We can't let that happen again. They amplify shared frustrations until those frustrations become the identity of the group. The group stops being defined by what they're for and starts being defined by what they're against. They use storytelling, personal, emotional, perfectly calibrated to the group's values, to build trust and create the illusion of authenticity. And most powerfully, they create an us versus them dynamic that makes any challenge to their authority feel like a threat to the group itself. Question me, and you're questioning us. This is not coincidence. This is a playbook. And it works in corporations. It works in churches. It works in governments. It works in families. So why don't we see it coming? So why are intelligent, capable, perceptive people caught off guard by this? Because the need to belong lowers our defenses. There are some people who have more of a need to belong based on their belonging and care languages, which can make them more vulnerable if they do not understand themselves. When we feel seen, accepted, part of something meaningful, our critical thinking naturally takes a back seat. This isn't weakness. This is biology. The brain in a state of belonging is different from the brain in a state of vigilance. And toxic personalities understand this. They manufacture the feeling of belonging before they ask for anything. By the time they start pushing an agenda, you already feel like you owe them your loyalty. There's a psychological principle called cognitive consonance. When information aligns with our identity, we receive it differently. We resist information that challenges the group we love. and toxic personalities know exactly how to wrap their agenda in the language of your identity. So how do we protect ourselves and our teams from this pattern? First, cultivate a culture where dissent is safe. Toxic personalities thrive in environments where questioning is dangerous. The single greatest structural protection against group manipulation is a culture that normalizes respectful challenge. Second, slow down the feeling of instant connection. When someone new enters your space and feels immediately, profoundly like one of us, that's worth examining. Real belonging is built, not announced. Third, pay attention to who benefits from the us versus them dynamic. Whenever a group is being mobilized against a perceived enemy, ask yourself, who gains from this division? Fourth, name the language. When you notice group language being strategically deployed, when you see symbols and values being invoked to silence dissent or build loyalty, name it. Gently, clearly, out loud. As we dive deeper, there will be more discussion on how they connect, and you will be given more information on how you can protect yourself and your team. Understanding group dynamics doesn't make you cynical. It makes you clear. Human beings are meant to belong to communities. That is beautiful and right. The tragedy is when that beautiful need gets weaponized, when belonging becomes the bait in a trap. In the next video, we're going to go deeper into the individual level again and talk about something that I believe is one of the most overlooked concepts in personality development: soul fragments, vows, and the narratives that shape our lives from the inside out. This one is personal. This one is powerful. I'll see you there.